Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for joining. My name is Tawana Rivers. For those of you who don't know, this is the 10K Project. This is the space that you come to, a safe space that you come to as an investor or a founder, so that we can love on you a little bit, teach you how to invest in alternative investment opportunities, and then we bring you the deal flow. So we teach you the skill, and then we bring you the opportunity. We are essentially a community of investors, and we are so glad to have all of our returning investors join us. And then anyone who's seeing us for the first time, welcome. We're so grateful to have you. Tonight, we have an amazing founder. Sadiq is going to talk to us about his business, Slide Transportation. I love what Sadiq is doing. I'm not going to give it away, but I love what Sadiq is doing because he is really changing how the non-urgent medical transportation field is operating. I love his approach, this concierge white glove service that he's going to provide, or that he is providing already to his customers. As someone who, a couple of years ago experienced the need within my own family where my mother was being transported to and from doctor's appointments, and we could have used Sadiq and his company as she was going through all of those appointments, and sometime having to go by herself if my sister and I had work concerns. And so this is something I think families are going to appreciate. And I just want to tell you in advance of your presentation, Sadiq, thank you. As a daughter whose parent really could have used something like this, and nothing like this exists where I live. I know that the people and the patients and the families in that Chicagoland area, and once you expand the rest of the country, they're going to completely be blessed by what it is you've built. So thank you so much. Before I let Sadiq take over, I want to share with you his campaign page. Sadiq's campaign is on Real Rise Capital. And those of you who have been around for a while, you may remember Secure Living, right, with Fontina and Chris Stokes. Secure Living has changed to Real Rise Capital. So the same amazing founders behind it, new company name, but also the same amazing deal flow. And so, I definitely suggest you guys go to realrisecapital.net and look at all of the other opportunities that are out there. But tonight is about Sadiq. So I am going to share my screen, and we are going to look at Sadiq's campaign. And we will be putting this link in the chat as well as in the Facebook live stream throughout the evening. So you can capture it here, you can screenshot it, you can write it down, or you can just click on it from the chat where we'll be posting it. As you can see, Sadiq is revolutionizing non-medical or non-emergency medical transportation. Again, I'm going to let him tell you all about the specifics, but I wanted to show you the campaign page, right? So here is where, after you hear the presentation and you look through all of the information here, you click into, every, scroll through every page, click every link, read everything that's there. This opportunity is an equity opportunity. $50 or excuse me, 50 cents a share, $500 is your minimum. We will talk about the exit strategy. Sadiq may talk about it in his presentation. And of course, we're going to ask questions about it as we get to that Q&A section. This is a common stock purchase with a 24 to 48 month investment duration. If you are interested in investing, once you hear the presentation, here is where you would click the Invest Now button, right? But I always tell you guys, look at everything. So you've got the pitch deck, you've got some disclosures, right? All of your legal notices will be in here, and some really, really good information. And I just implore you to read every single thing. And definitely, if you have questions that you want to ask, you can ask them tonight here with us, but you may think of questions later on. And every campaign page has an opportunity where you can ask questions directly to the founder, and you can do that here. But as you see, I'm scrolling, there's a lot of good information here. So you definitely want to go through all of this. We'll talk about the team and just everything. Okay? All right. So I don't want to give it all away. So I'm going to stop sharing, And I'm going to turn this over to you, Mr. Sadiq, and please tell us about Slide Transportation and all about you as well.
Thank you, Tawana, for that great introduction. I appreciate that. So hello, everyone. My name is Sadiq Hafiz. I'm the CEO of Slide Transportation. I appreciate this opportunity to present in front of everyone, and I love the 10K project. I told her how much I really love this. It's something that's very, very needed, and I want to be a part of this, definitely. So let me just give you a brief description of the company. So this is a non-emergency medical transportation company, abbreviated NEMT in the industry. We specialize in medical transportation. They don't hurt. They never help the patients out of the home. They really into or out of the facility, which is very, very difficult for some people. What we do is we'll help them out of their home and we'll
Excuse me,
help them
Sadiq,
into
I'm sorry
the
to
facility.
interrupt you, but you're chopping up just a little bit, and I
Okay.
want to make sure the community hears you completely. So you're just breaking up just a little bit when you're talking, like you trail off on the end of your sentence.
Okay. Is it? Hold on one second. Am I good now?
You are good now, sir.
Okay. So we specialize in door-through-door transportation. We help patients into their facility and their appointments and out of their homes. Most transportation companies, they only help them curb to curb. They don't go into facilities and they don't go into homes. So we're trying to solve that problem for the patients. And we service hospitals, skilled care centers, and dialysis centers mostly. This is something that's needed for those centers because they are basically they're being neglected, shall I say? Uh, right now, this is a pain point. Patients, uh, too much transportation for excuse me, too many unreliable transportation. Shops are only servicing these facilities during business hours. After hours, they are not available. On weekends, they are not available in these facilities. They're 24/7, some of them. So they need the skilled transportation services daily and sometimes after hours. So that's where we're going to hit them at in those pain points. Um, Patients often have to wait to get home for very long periods of time. That's something that we're trying to resolve also. So, and as hospitals struggle to discharge patients, they're upcoding them through ambulances, which is costing the hospitals a lot of money. Because of them having to pay upcoding these upcoding fees, their margins are basically being hit in areas that we want to offer them relief. So the option, right, I got, sorry, 6 years.
Looks like you may have froze, Sadiq. You can still hear me.
I apologize. I'm having bad right now.
Yeah, it looks like your bandwidth. Well, I wonder if, as much as I would hate for you not to be seen, I wonder if when you share your screen, maybe, yeah, maybe turn your camera off.
Okay.
That'll help at all.
Okay.
And then maybe, and I think we should still be able to see your slides, but then that may help the bandwidth.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you nicely now.
Okay.
Yeah, as much as I want them to see you, I want them to hear you more than anything else.
Okay. So the hospitals are struggling with discharging patients right now, and that's where we want to help relieve them. They're upcoding the patients to ambulances in order to discharge them because the hospitals make money off of the rooms. And if a patient is lingering in a room longer than what they need to be there, then the hospitals are losing money according to the room, and they're losing money when they have to upcode them. So we're going to solve both of those problems at the same time. Okay. So we spent 6 years, we wanted to learn the business notes as we were this. Basically, asked a question. We went into facilities, got to know certain, and we these pain points that they were having, and they've been gracious enough to tell us. So we've took notes over the years. We've learned exactly what vehicles they want, what exactly type of service they want, and we are willing to provide that now. We're ready to provide that. So over the past 2 years, we've generated over $100,000 in gross revenue, and we're ready to scale beyond the broker model and into high capacity wheelchair vehicles and direct contracts with the facilities. That's the way that we're going to accumulate better contracts and a higher margin. So by building direct contracts, we'll be able to greatly improve these margins and deliver a better, more dependable service for patients and providers. We're raising capital to expand our fleet and invest in real-time dispatch technology, secure direct contracts, and improve our infrastructure. So let's go over the pitch deck. You mind?
We don't see it yet.
Can you see it now?
Looks like it's coming in now. Yes, we see it clearly.
I apologize for this.
You are okay. Don't you worry about this. The technical issues happen, but we are here. We're patient. Again, remember I told you we are here for you, brother. So none of that other stuff matters.
Okay, so it says revolutionizing the non-emergency medical transportation service, but I really want to say maximizing, because there are not that many providers that are maximizing this space. There was the guy that introduced me to this. He showed me how he was making a livable wage with it. Basically, he had a crew, he had a fleet, and he was making about $20,000 extra a month in profit. So he was okay with that. And I said, why are you leaving all that money on the table? And he was like, I'm okay with this. Well, me personally, I like to scale businesses. So I want to see this NEMT space maximize what we're to do. So I kind of proud already of the solution provides industry, and it's growing. There's over 30 hospitals in the Chicagoland area, and it's way too many skilled care facilities to count. We have a lot of medical facilities in the Chicagoland area, and they are all in need of this service. And that's what we want to aim at, that and fulfill that. $36 million a year in hospital discharges. The reason I wanted that on this slide is because hospital discharges are one of the easiest. This is one of the easiest ways to break into the industry through private contracts. And that's what we want to hit first. Hospital discharges, that is definitely needed. I kind of explained like how hospitals are upcoding patients to get rid of them. This way we can hit this and they can allow us in with ease, and that'll open the door for better contracts in other ways like dialysis also. Long-term demand, of course, we have an aging population and increasing chronic illnesses in the country. So this is a service that's definitely needed. The business model comes from one of the The government has to provide medical transportation for Medicaid. So whoever has Medicaid, they have to get that transportation. The government pay for it. The patient doesn't pay anything. Managed care organizations, they will pay directly through contracts with us. Some healthcare organizations also. Private pay, we can build private pay contracts with insurance companies, with directly through to the consumer. It's many ways we could do private pay. Direct pay contracts, the same thing. School districts, that's a growing contract right now. A lot of school districts need wheelchair transportation for certain students, and that contract is actually kind of blowing up right now. That's something else we want to work on. Workers' compensation also, and no fault insurance. So a lot of this is going to come through a lot of the money will come through organizations rather than an individual, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing because they're willing to pay. Very, very rarely will they have problems paying. Very rarely. So our trip rates are $40 for a loading fee and $4 a mile. That's just for ambulatory. That's for just one who can get in and out of a car on their own, go to the top, and come out on their wheelchair. We focus more on that. That's $60 per loading fee and $5 a mile. Now, this is a price that's going up a lot more often now because of inflation. So this is a price very soon. Additional surcharges, bariatric fees, that means people that are very overweight. Wait times, anything over 15 minutes, we get the charge for that. Out of area fees, unloading mileage fees, also fees such as weekends and after hours. Those fees are a lot more, and those facilities are willing to pay. Traction, we have a proven record since 2019. We've been in business 6 years once again. Our goal is to hit 2 million by the end of 2026. Okay, I'll go deeper into that in the next slide. We have a pipeline of multiple Chicago-based hospitals, solid foundational contracts with serious revenue upsides through acquisitions and expanded service. We plan to do acquisitions of smaller companies or companies that are the same size. That way we can expand quicker, and we also can get contracts that are already under contract with other companies, and we can just buy those companies and take on those contracts. That way we can grow fast. Experience, pair engagement. We are like a 6-year experience. We have a lot of experience in that. And Karima, my partner, she handles those compliance rules. Growth and strategy, accelerating growth through strategic M&A. Once again, we plan to strategically purchase other companies that are in the space that are doing it correctly. But once again, there are a lot of people in this space that are not doing it correctly. They are mom and pop shops. They only like working through the business hours, and they are pretty much burnt out by the end of the day. So if we have any other companies that are doing it correctly, we plan to purchase them. Our second goal after 2026, like I said, our 2026 goal is to scale to 2 million. And by 2028, we plan to scale to 10 million of annual revenue. How do we plan to do it? Through secure contract partnerships with the Chicagoland area hospitals and medical centers, adding new wheelchair accessible ADA compliant vehicles to meet growing demand, because that is that's the assets for the business, the wheelchair business, wheelchair vans, more demand we can meet. Strategic partnerships with agencies, facilities, that's another way we plan to grow. And we want for 2032 is to drive our revenue up to 100 million. And we'll do that through M&A and regional NEMT providers. And also we will do that through just organically growing the company We're focused on growing a strong company. That's really our focus right now. We want to expand nationally. That's our long-term goal, is to expand nationally. We want to expand to other cities strategically. Our end goal is to IPO within 24 to 48 months. We may extend it, but if we extend it, it'll be to 60 months, no longer. But our goal is to IPO in the end. So let's go to the next slide, competitive landscape. These are our end competitors, Elite and Superior, because like I said, we plan to grow this company into other areas of medical transportation. And these competitors right here, Elite and Superior, they're in other areas. Assisted ambulatory and wheelchair companies, that's our first our advantage, once again, is the door-to-door service, evening and weekend available, very accurately and accessible. Slides an NEMT only company. In this business, you'll find some of these companies are doing bachelor parties at night. We don't do that. We focus directly on medical transportation, and that's what we'll continue to focus on. So once again, our goal by the end of 2026 is to hit 2 million. By the end of 2028, we plan to at least hit 10 million. And as you can see, this is our plan to expand over the years into the $100 million mark. So the use of funds for 5 million, because that's what we're raising. We're raising 5 million, $3 million for acquisition, strategic M&A, and smaller NEMT operators. 1.25 million for vehicles and equipment. 250,000 for operations. 250,000 for payroll. 75,000 for marketing, and 175,000 for real estate, which we need an office with a garage. We need a closed-in garage, because I'm pretty sure if you know Chicago, it gets pretty cold here. We have some great big storms, some very big snowstorms that are not good. It's better to have a garage vehicle. This is our team, of course. The president, plus years in real estate finance, 8 years in the EMT industry. Corinne, she's 7 years in the EMT industry, and she also has 3 in the industry as well. We have our CFO, Linda Swilley. She's not on here, but she handles the finances and keeps everything in order for the company. Our funding goal is 5 million. Our minimum target is 50,000. Our minimum investment is $500 at 50 cents per share. The holding period is 4 to 5 years. I don't know if you can see that, 4 to 5 years. Exit strategy is to IPO. Acquisition is a plan C, but IPO is our #1 goal. So thank you for listening to me. I apologize for the nervousness, and I apologize for any mistalking. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me right now. I am more than willing to hear your concerns. I'm more than willing to hear your advice. I'm very coachable, so give any advice that you have.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much, Sadiq. You can stop sharing your screen, and then we're going to chat a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Let's come back on camera and see if we can get this audio together.
Can you hear me?
I can. All right. So we're going to revisit a couple of things, because there were a couple of areas where you were a little choppy. So I want to reiterate what those areas were. I kind of made some notes where I want you to kind of flush out some more information. First of all, congratulations, right? 6 years in business. So you are not new to this, right? You are true to this, right? And so, a lot of times we'll have startups that are just getting their feet wet. You have done that already. And so the growth that you're experiencing now outside of raising this money, I want to talk about that a little bit, right? I want to talk about how you started and take us over the journey of the last 6 years.
Okay, so we started in 2019. 2019, we pretty much spent getting in compliance with the state. This is a very regulated business, so nobody can just jump right in it. You hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm just going to get me a car and jump in it and start taking people to the doctor." That's not going to happen. You have to go through a lot of regulation. You have to, get a license, a lot of insurance. So that uh, we 2019 we contract with them, and they bought it was about 3 vehicles, and we were operating pretty much on the west side of Chicago, throughout the west side and the near west suburbs. So there are a lot of medical facilities in those areas. Some of the best medical facilities actually in the world. Rush, um, I know you all have heard of probably Shirley Ryan. That's where Jamie Foxx rehabbed at. There's a lot of good medical facilities here. So all of them need this service. We've serviced most of them, if not all of them. Um, and we did that over those years. So we remained small throughout those years because we experienced a lot of inflation in those years. So we remained small and we learned the business. That was our goal. We want to learn the business and find out where the money is because this is a very closed mouth business. So we would speak to certain people that have been in the business and certain advisors. We would pay them and ask them questions and they would answer them. Uh, and they pretty much told us how to get the contracts, the best contracts, which is direct to facility and get the high capacity wheelchair vans. So most people in this have low capacity wheelchair vans, which is a minivan that you put a wheelchair in. But we that information from them, and that's what we're trying to achieve right now. We want to buy those vehicles and achieve those tracks.
Very good. You talked a little bit about um the requirements, right? So let's talk about that. Licensing, certification, special training. Let's dive into that just a little bit. What are the requirements for the drivers?
Okay. Can you repeat that? My computer froze again. I'm not sure what's
That's
going
okay.
on.
That's okay. I was asking about the training for the drivers. Are there special licenses or certifications or special trainings that they go through?
Certifications, not licenses. So they just have to go through tests in order to make sure that they know how to treat the patients, how to properly remove them from vehicles, how to um, basically take the safety route. You have to get first aid training, and you have to understand how to deal with blood pathogen. So as long as you take those trainings, you can be qualified as a driver. It's not strenuous. It's a college degree. It's, it's coming off of the street either.
Right.
So
So
yeah,
it's not, and no offense to these companies, but it's not a taxi company. It's not a
no,
it's
that's
not a
no
Lyft. These are trained individuals. I want that to be very clear to the community.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good. I want to also talk about when you talk about the different direct contracts, right? So previously you were working with brokers, right? So they're sending you to different gigs, right? And they're taking a piece of the pie. You're smart enough to know, we're gonna cut out the middleman and we're gonna go direct to where the payers are, right? And so I want to talk through those different sources of revenue from a customer standpoint. When you were presenting, you broke up a little bit. So I want to be clear on what that list of people are. You talked about directly with hospitals, schools, work comp, no fault insurance. Like talk a little bit more about that.
So these are sometimes organizations like businesses whose employees might get hurt and they'll pay you to take them to the doctor. Um, These are schools, um, facilities like dialysis, cancer treatment centers, and of course hospitals. So these are just anything medical. You can do anything medical related business, anything. So,
Very, very good. Jessica had a good question. She said, based on your pay model, if the federal government significantly cut Medicare and Medicaid, how significantly would that impact your bottom line?
so we make Medicaid a very low percentage, maybe 10 to 20, 15% of our income. And the reason we do that is because of that. They may cut it, but the facilities, they pay more anyway. Medicaid only pays a certain amount, and it's pretty low compared to the facility prices. So those prices that I showed you, those are private pay prices. We get paid more when we deal directly with facilities. That's why we focus directly on those contracts.
Very good.
I hope that answered your question.
Jessica, let us know if that answered your question, dear, if you want him to elaborate a little bit more. Jessica has a second question. She said, the service provides customer assistance into the home. What type of licenses or credentials do the employees have to have? And I'm asking for the purpose of risk. So if you want to add, I know you answered my question that was similar, but if you want to answer her question, and Jessica is an attorney. So that's so she is
So,
very, very
one
interested in
more
risk.
question. Background checks on people. Basically, they have to be background checked. Double background check, and it's national sex predator background checks. They have, and once again, they have those trainings. So that's how we basically filter out the drivers.
Okay, very good. So background check, sex offender registry checks, all of the
Yes,
same things that you would do to be considerate about the fact that they could be around, just people, period, elderly, young, whatever the case is, we're making sure that they have a clean criminal history.
absolutely.
And then you're training them. So when they go through the training and that, it's almost like when you described it to me, it was really was reminiscent of like a customer care training, right? If you find that that's not a good fit for them, do you make a decision not to move forward, right? If they don't have patience in training, the odds that they're going to have patience in real life probably non-existent. So
Right.
do you ever have to make decisions where it's like, yeah, you're probably not a good fit for this role?
I'm glad you said that because that's actually a stress point that we push in training is that you need to be patient with these people. Some
Yeah.
people are, elderly, they might be a little snappy.
Mhm.
Um, People you might be dealing with mental illness. So you have to be patient. And if you don't think you can be patient, you have to be patient.
Yeah, very, very good. Lisa says, can you please discuss your secret sauce? What makes you stand out from the rest?
Um, I'm willing to take time to study something and figure out exactly what to do. And I'm also willing to build something that will meet the requirements of what I studied. So a lot of people won't take the time to study this business. Like I said, it's a very closed mouth industry because there's a lot of money in it. So you'll see the big players and you'll be like, how do they make all that money? They don't go through brokers. They take the time to go introduce themselves to facilities and build relationships with the facilities. They purchase the correct vehicles that can service the facilities because the facilities want to know what type of vehicle you have so that you can properly service them. And that's what I've done. I've taken that time to figure those things out and make those shake hands, make friends. And that's what set me apart so far. So now I'm doing this to try to meet the rest of the requirements. So I hope that answered your question too.
Good, very, very good. Patrice says, what assets do you currently own, including how many vans, contracts, and how many drivers to date?
Okay, so we have 3 vans and we have 2 contracts. And the third question.
And how many, so 3 vans, how many drivers? And you
Two
said two.
drivers right now. We have two drivers. So, like I said, we wanted to remain small in order to figure out this business. We did not want to grow because this is something else I noticed with the business. People were growing too fast, and they ended up getting wrecked over the last couple of years. The last couple of years, we saw a lot of people exit the industry due to failure. They grew too fast, they hired too many people, and they stayed with the broker contracts. And the broker contracts, they only pay so much. And with inflation, people want more money. So if you're not able to pay them, you may have a vehicle that's sitting and costing you money. And that's what we did not want to do. So we stayed small and we discovered what we needed to do in the business. And now we're going to grow properly.
Very good. All right. Lisa says, is there a focus on the dispatch technology, as lateness is always an issue with these medical transport companies? She said you should really spend time on how you can use technology to tackle this issue.
Thank you for that question. So two things there. For the last Kareem is leading the charge. We've been a company called Magic in the Philippines. It's a dispatch company in the Philippines. We found two companies actually. One, which is Magic, pays you have to pay $8 an hour for dispatch 24/7, and there's another one that you pay like $247 a month for dispatch, and that's 24 hours a day. So I'm glad you asked that question. It's a great question. That has always been a problem in this industry for you to find good dispatchers or people to answer the phone and not be in the bathroom. But with this service, it solved that problem. It actually solved that problem. So using that technology, and also number two, I need to do a little bit more research on this, so I don't want to speak on it too much. But there's a AI model out there that can answer people live in dispatch, and I think it may be cheaper than both of these, but it's an AI that can respond to the people, make the appointment, and everything. So I'm exploring that one too. But right now, that the Magic is seeming like the one we're going to go with.
Very, very good. Anonymous says, congratulations on 6 years in the business. Question, what's your niche quality that separates Slide from competitors? And do you have a white glove service other than, or white glove service that encourages clients to choose you?
Um, so the niche, I would say, is like I said, door through door, but something that we have, and you're going to be surprised at this. A lot of people's cars are dirty. A lot of these services, cars are dirty. We keep our cars spotless. And because of that, that actually gets us the most clientele and gets, when we take people, they usually try to request us as standing orders. Say, we want to keep riding with you because our cars are clean. And this is a medical service. So you would think that people would keep their cars clean because
Right.
it's required for, you don't want pathogens and bacteria in your car, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised, but I'm a neat freak. So I like it. I like to keep our cars clean.
And when you say door to door, I want to be clear. So you're not talking like if you were taking me to an appointment at the hospital, right? You're not dropping me off at the main entrance, right?
No, no, you have to go to the department that you're
So you're
supposed
taking
to be
me.
in.
So door to door for you is you are taking me to the 7th floor,
Yeah,
7 East, right? Seven
yes.
West, right? You're taking me to the area. If it was a doctor's appointment, you're taking me to Dr. Smith's door in the medical building. You're not just dropping me off at the front and I gotta fend for myself the rest of the way.
Uh, through door, meaning you're in hospital, going to your room in your hospital, and we will assist. Usually, if they're in the hospital bed, we like the staff to take them out of the bed and let them, put them in the chair. But if we have to, we will. But we go straight to them in the department they are. We are not waiting for the doctors to come out and get them. I mean, go and get them and bring them out.
Mhm.
That may take some time anyway. So we kill time and we're able to provide a better service by going to get them in the specific department they're in the hospital.
Yeah,
Or
that to me sets you aside from any transport I was familiar with or have had interaction with. Like they are literally like they can taking you to the front and you hobble the rest of the way, right? So that is definitely a standout in my opinion, which makes this truly concierge and white glove service in my book.
okay, yes, yes.
Oh, Jessica said, Jessica's on fire tonight. All right, Jessica. She said, would you ever consider transitioning to driverless fleets?
That's also I actually in that driverless fleets. Tesla was talking about using tech to the regulators about the driverless fleet tool for medical transportation. But if they are, why not? Why not? I
So
believe
you,
that is something that, I mean, why not make money
so
without
you would consider
having,
it if it
yeah,
was if it
yeah,
was proven to be safe and
absolutely.
yeah, because I mean we see trucks on the road now driverless. We see, the Waymos are out there taking people to and from.
That's actually where the world is headed now. If you listen to the World Economic Forum, they really want driverless cars eventually, and they want electric cars. Where if you look at how much a battery for an electric car costs, it's like $30,000. The average person will not be able to afford a car. So
Right.
services like this will become more and more in demand under that type of, you know, environment.
Nice. Very good. Rain says, hello, Mr. Hafez. Do you not also consider Pace Transport Services as a competitor?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But they are mostly in the city. They are mostly in the city. They really don't come out to the outer suburbs. A lot of suburbs are like they're becoming
Ooh, you breaking up really bad on
services.
this one, Sadiq.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Try to answer this one again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you broke up really badly on this one.
Okay. But so
You said they're
in
mainly in
the
the city.
yeah, they're mainly in the city. I'm seeing them less and less actually, but they are mainly in the city. And Pace, they also do like I can't remember what this service is called. It's a service where they pay the person pays like $3 and they take them to wherever they want to go, the grocery store and places like that. They're not only focused on medical, they're mostly focused on public transportation. So
Mm,
that's why I don't really look at them as much because they're mostly public.
okay. Very good. Jessica said, when a van goes down, on average, uh, how long is it down and how much does it cost for you when the van is not in operation?
So usually, uh, those we try to cycle the bands out to 2,000 miles. That's when it really starts experiencing. For that, a van from 1,000, you experience many problems other than a flat tire or things like after 120,000, the transmission problems and the coil problems, things like that. And that's when you have time in the shop. That's why we like to cycle them out of rotation at 120,000 miles.
Okay. Okay. So what's the plan? So I know in your slide when you talked about how the money would be used, how many more vehicles are you going to purchase?
We're going to start off with 10.
Okay, so you
We're
want
going to
10.
start off with 10 and aim a certain amount at each facility that we target. Maybe five at one facility and five at another facility. We want to start off with two facility contracts that we are already kind of cultivating, and we're gonna put them towards those and see what try to maximize the amount of money that's coming in off of those. Each car, we want to figure out exactly how much each vehicle can make, how to maximize each vehicle, we're basically doing you know, basically become very organized about everything with the vehicles and the contract. So that's
Okay. Okay. Want to make sure you weren't frozen. Um, question before I get to Patrice's last question, I want to ask a different question first. You talked about expansion and acquiring other companies is how you see yourself growing. I want to talk a little bit about that expansion and I'll share this. So someone in the chat put that we should introduce you to a founder in Texas that has medical office building. Um,
what part of Texas? Is it Houston?
she is in Houston. Yes, it's Honeycomb Clinic, and she's in Houston, I believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, that's actually the second area we're going to explore for expansion. So at Houston and then Atlanta. So I'm glad you said that. Please introduce me.
Really?
Yes, that
Okay.
was definitely, that used to be on the pitch deck actually. So I'm glad you said that. Please
Well,
introduce
this is very interesting. So this is oh my God, this is interesting. So when she said that, it made me think we've got another member on, Eddie Blacknell is on. And it made me think of Eddie because Eddie's in that Texas area. And I thought, huh, wonder if Eddie wanna start his own slide transportation in the Houston area. And so what does that look like from a timing standpoint on that expansion? So if you could talk a little bit about that. And I love that we chose a market that you actually are going to go into next. How do you build that? What does it look like? Where do you start?
I mean, I would say I cannot say at the moment because I want to focus here on building the right systems. My goal is to build the right systems here and make sure we have a duplicatable system in another city. Because once we are able to duplicate the system, we should grow very fast after that.
Okay.
So, so I
Very
don't really
good.
want to answer that right now.
Okay. 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 Eddie, you said I'm in your head. Yes, I am in your head. You were on my brain. So Eddie, I'm gonna say this. We're gonna have him pull up that last slide, and I'm gonna have you take a picture of that slide with his contact information on it. Because brother, I feel like this one's definitely for you. This is what you've been looking for. Um, so absolutely wonderful. Love it, love it, love it. Patrice says, what's your estimated net of the projected 2 million for 2026?
Estimate around 1 million. And the reason that is because a lot it will be paid out in, you know, we're trying to keep the debt low. We don't want to have a high debt. And the only way we'll really increase the debt is if we don't raise enough, which I think we will be able to raise enough. But if we don't raise enough, then we may take on loans for the vehicles. That way we can still produce a good income. But we want to keep the debt low. But my guesstimate is 1.1 million.
Okay. So 1.1 million, but you want to keep debt low. If you have to do debt, it'll be for vehicles.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Patrice, did that answer your question? Okay. Yeah, very good.
Thank you for that question too.
All right. What other questions do you guys have? What other questions? Let me look at my list here. Oh, I want to talk about the exit strategy, Mr. I'm going IPO. I want to talk about that.
Let's
So
talk.
I love that you're going to acquire through mergers and acquisitions, right? That's how the big boys grow, right? And so let's talk about IPO. Why IPO versus any other strategy to exit, or to not exit, right? Whatever the case. Why is that the decision? And what does the road to IPO look like for you?
Okay, so why IPO first is I don't see anyone else doing it in this space. I think this is a great business, is a very profitable business, and no one's doing it because there's too many mom and pops. Why not? Why not? Why not take this to the stock market? I don't see no
Okay.
other. But what was the second question?
And so the second question was, what does the road to IPO look like?
So the road to IPO is once again we're applying certain formulas to basically create a system that we can duplicate in other cities. So the road to IPO is about systems and duplicating them in other cities and growth in revenue, growth in value, growth in areas that we tackle. So mostly high population areas, but growth. That's the road to IPO. We want to focus on building a great company. That's the road. Once we
Wow.
build a great company, we'll feel comfortable, more than comfortable. We have
Very, very good. What other questions do you guys have? Let me look to see if we've got any questions in the Facebook Live.
Not at this time.
Oh, thank you. Very good. All right, Sadiq, I'm going to give my final words, and then I'm going to let you give your final words to the community and the call to action, right? Couple of things, because we had a little bit of audio issues. One of the things I'm going to do, Sadiq, is I would love for you, I'm going to send you I'm going to send you this recording so that when the questions were asked, I'm going to give you the opportunity to kind of record your answer separately so that we can hear you thoroughly when your signal is better. And then those are the clips that I will share everywhere because I really, really want people to be able to hear clearly, right? I had the benefit of speaking with you. And so I know that you are on point with this plan. Because of some of the lag in tech, I want the community to clearly hear that and see that. So Talisha, we're going to hold off on sending this replay out until we'll send the recording to Sadiq, and then he'll hear the question and kind of create his own, short little video with the response. And then we'll have Cobain put those together and then we'll send that out.
okay.
So I want this to be, I don't want this to be lost on the people, right? I want them to see the value in this and to be able to hear you. So it'll be a little different for you guys in the community waiting for the replay. It'll be you won't get it tonight. But I think what you get when you do get it is going to be a better product, and you'll be able to hear and understand. For those of you here with us live, it'll also give you an opportunity to rehear some of the things where it may have been a little choppy. Okay. Um, and then after you hear that, right? After you hear everything and you go through everything and you look through the pitch deck that is on the realrisecapital.net page, I want you to consider adding this into your portfolio. And if you decide to, you know how to navigate that page with the Invest Now. But as I always say, more than anything else, I want you to share, share, share. Please share this campaign page with your family, your friends. Definitely, if you've got family and friends in the Chicago area, right? For sure, share it with them to be customers potentially. But also, how cool is it to be able to possibly invest in a local company, right? You see that slide transportation van go by and be like, oh, I invest in them. Like that feeling would make my heart flutter. Like I've had that happen on several occasions, and it's been like, there was a dentist we invested in year one, and I saw him on a plane, and I was like, Like it's like you feel so invested as an investor. And so, we take this journey with you oftentimes. And so, for those of us who have family and friends in Chicago, we sure better be sharing it with them, because they probably also can give us information from a local standpoint, right? Oh, I heard of that company. They're awesome. Or, they may know someone who's used it, and it'll give us also a different perspective from an investor and a different voice also. So I definitely recommend that we do that. I know I'll be doing that. Um, uh, we come here when we have these presentations to love on the Black founders. We talk about that. That's the terminology I use because that's exactly what I feel like we're doing, giving you a space to be seen and to be heard, and obviously to be invested into, right? To be poured into. And even with the tech difficulties this evening, I feel like your PowerPoint presentation, your pitch deck is strong, right? I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the verbiage you're using. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at 6 years in business, and you've got a smart plan for growth, right? And I just love what you're doing. And it's very clear to me that you've got a good plan to ensure that you are standing out above the competition. And you've got a long-term plan. And so, any way we can help in this community, we are going to do that individually, making that assessment on how it fits in our own portfolios. So with that said, my call to action is simple. It's the same as it always is. Do your due diligence, consider investing, but more than anything else, share, 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 share this campaign. I'm going to tell you, Sadiq and his team, they are going to succeed whether they raise this $5 million in phases or all at once, because he's already succeeding, right? And so there is no doubt in my mind that he will meet this goal and meet the goals of the business so that this business can continue to grow, so that Eddie can have a fleet of his own in Houston.
Come on, Eddie, let's do it.
Sadiq, what do you want to say to the people, sir?
I want to say that this is a that's needed. We have so many different things that we need but this is a necessity, I would say. So I've seen so many people who needed a ride, and they're not even their loved ones wanted to take them. Not even their own children. Some people, might have had an accident or had a stroke or something like that. Not even their children will want to take them to the doctor or even go to the doctor with them when we provided the ride. So this is something that's needed.
Yeah.
This is something that I think will put a smile on a lot of people's faces in our communities. It's it's definitely a game changer, I would say, if we have a service that we can depend on. And like I said, there's a lot of people that provide certain services through brokers, but they're not reliable. A lot of the time, the vehicles are not clean. They are just. I saw a lot of people miss doctor's appointments that they couldn't get another one for another 2 months. We need things that we can rely on in our community. And that's why I wanted to build this company. I don't focus on the money. Of course, I want the money, but I don't focus on the money as much as I like to focus on building a good company, providing people with good people to care for them. That's more so what I want to do. So I want you all to come invest with me. Let's build our company. We are the game changers. We are. We have to provide these things that can change our own communities. So if you can invest with me and let's build this together and provide for our people what we need. That's what I'll say.
I love that. I love that. I see one final question in here. Anonymous says, what was Mr. Hafez doing before this venture? So
Oh,
what was your career 7 years ago, right before this?
so 7 years ago, I was in the mortgage industry. Very shaky industry. I'm not sure if anybody's in real estate here, but I was in the mortgage industry. Ah, I just got tired of that. And you know what? Excuse me. I went to the mortgage industry and then I went to property management for a year.
Ah,
So I
okay.
was in property management for a big real estate firm here in Illinois and Chicago. And then I went into this. Like I said, I had mentor, he told me about this business and it made so much money. And to me, it made a lot of sense. I didn't know anything like this existed. It kind of blew my mind to know that this existed and how much money was in it. And it even blew my mind further to find out nobody was taking advantage of this. Like they
Wow.
were just running mom and pop shops. And that was weird to me. At the same time, opportunity. And, and
Very good. Very good. I feel like there's an opportunity here too, outside of the investment. I feel like there's an educational opportunity here. So once you get some downtime, we're gonna talk. I feel like, you've said several times, like, you didn't even know this existed, right? I'm thinking about this community of people that, some may have worked for the government, recently lost their job. Some may not be happy at their careers, right? Some may be looking to enter into entrepreneurship. We've got a lot of people here that are interested in entrepreneurship, but may not yet have figured out what that looks like for them. This community could be a part of your growth strategy, right? Where across the country, there could be people like Eddie, right? Not just sitting in Houston waiting for you, but in other places. So that education piece, I don't want that to get lost in this as you build and grow. I know you got to focus on Chicago and get that up right, but definitely keep us in mind when you're ready, because I feel like this community could have some people who could help you build this in other areas. Yeah, I really feel like that's a possibility here.
you always need good friends and good colleagues. You always need, I will definitely connecting with the right people. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, Sadiq, you and I are going to chat. I'm going to send over the replay to you so that then you can record based on the questions we asked. And
Okay.
then to the community, I'm going to ask you guys to hold tight. I know y'all spoiled. Talisha got y'all spoiled. Y'all used to getting these replays at the nighttime, but you're not going to get it tonight. So be patient, but we will get it to you. Sadiq will record either tonight or tomorrow, and then we'll get it over to you as soon as we get it back so that you can have, again, a better product to listen to on replay. So I hope that's okay. I hope nobody has any issues with that. I do believe it's for the best. And I think you will be happy with that end result. To the community watching, thank you so very, very much for hanging out with us tonight. You could be anywhere on this Tuesday night, and I'm so very, very glad and grateful that you decided to come hang out with us so that we could love on yet again another Black founder doing something amazing, making lives better in a lot of situations, even saving them, right? Think about all the people who can't get to medical care, and then so they just don't go, right? I mean, when you think about that from that standpoint, he is truly saving lives. And so, thank you for what you and your team are doing for families who, need the help. And so even though, this is a good profitable business, Sadiq said it himself, he focuses on the people and focuses on the business, and the money will come, right? And so, I appreciate that you're putting the people at the forefront of this business. And so thank you so much for that, sir. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this platform. I really appreciate this. I really do. So I will be in contact with you.
You are
About
very, very welcome. You're very, very welcome. All right, everyone. Thank you, guys. Peace and blessings. We will see you. The next pitch today is scheduled for, so I told you we weren't doing them every Tuesday anymore. So I'm going to try to give you advance notice when I can. But you need to look at the event page on the Facebook group, and you need to look at the event page on the website so that you know if there's going to be a pitch. So Bernard, don't be posting, is there a pitch tonight? Look on the website on the event page and look in the Facebook group under events. But the next one is scheduled for 7/1. Okay? So we'll see you on 7/1 for the next Bet on Black pitch. But I appreciate you guys and I love you. Peace and blessings. Good night.
you all.